All right, so today we're going to deep dive into email lists.
Yes.
You might be thinking about starting some sort of online business, or maybe you've just heard people talking about email lists and thinking, why are they making such a fuss over these things?
Yeah, they can seem a little mysterious, can't they?
Yeah, for sure. And today we're going to try and unpack why building an email list is so powerful,
Really powerful.
especially if you're running or thinking about starting an online business. And we've got this really cool article from blogwidow.com
Yes.
to help us break this down. And honestly, some of the stuff in here I had no clue about.
I think a lot of people don't realize how important they are.
Yeah.
There's so much emphasis these days on just chasing the latest trends in the digital world.
Yeah.
But owning your audience, that's where the real power is.
So true. Okay, I'll admit it. When we think about these social media giants like Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
it's hard to wrap my head around why email lists are that important.
Right.
Like, can't you just reach everyone on those platforms? I think it seems so much more instant.
That's where I think people get a little bit tripped up.
Yeah.
It's like this on social media, you're playing by somebody else's rules.
Okay.
You're renting space. Their algorithms change all the time.
Yeah.
It's like building a house on land you don't own. You're always at risk.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
So an email list is like owning that land.
exactly.
Go.
You're building something that's sustainable.
Yeah.
You set the rules. You cultivate the community, and no algorithm can come and just take that away from you.
Now that makes a lot more sense. It's about having that control
Yeah.
over that direct connection with your audience.
Absolutely.
But here's where I get really curious.
Yeah.
Blogwidow.com mentioned that email has higher conversion rates than almost any other method. Like, they even threw out a statistic. I think it was something like $42 return for every $1 spent.
Wow.
Is that for real?
It's pretty amazing.
Why does email convert so well?
I think it boils down to intent.
Okay.
The people on your email list, they've chosen to be there.
Yeah.
They've raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
They're already invested in you,
Yeah.
your brand, your message in some way.
Okay.
And with email, you can personalize the message in a way that you just can't on social media.
So it's like you're speaking directly to them,
Yeah,
not just shouting out into the void.
exactly.
Okay.
And that personalized connection leads to trust.
Yeah.
And trust is everything when it comes to converting those subscribers into customers.
For sure.
It's really about building those one-on-one relationships that are so valuable in the long run.
And that brings me to another point. Blogwidow.com made building an email list is a long game.
Yes.
It's not about just blasting out a sales pitch and hoping for the best.
No, it's not a quick fix.
Right.
It's about really nurturing those relationships over time. It's about consistently providing value, whether that's through helpful content, exclusive offers, or even just a glimpse behind the scenes. You want to make your subscribers feel like they're part of something special.
So it's like you're building a VIP club,
Yeah, I like
not
that.
just a random collection of email addresses.
Exactly.
And this is where blogwidow.com gets really interesting. They talk about lead magnets
Yes.
as a way to entice people to join your email list.
Huh.
What makes a lead magnet truly irresistible, something people can't help but sign up for?
Well, a truly great lead magnet offers something incredibly valuable to your target audience.
Okay.
And it solves a specific problem they have.
Right.
It could be things like ebooks, checklists,
Yeah.
templates, mini courses, anything that offers real tangible value
Yeah.
and helps them achieve a desired outcome.
Okay.
It has to be something that speaks directly to their needs and makes them think, I need this in my life right now.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the strategy here. It's about offering something so good that people are happy to exchange their email address for it.
Exactly.
What are some examples of lead magnets that have worked well, either for you or that you've seen out there?
Well, blogwidow.com mentions this great example of a fitness coach
Okay.
who offered a free 7-day workout plan as a lead magnet.
Okay.
And it was incredibly specific to her target audience, addressed a very real need.
Yeah,
And she saw huge success with that.
that makes sense. It's laser focused
All the
on
time.
her audience and their goals. Okay, so we've got this awesome lead magnet,
Uh-huh.
but how do we actually get people to see it?
Right.
Blogwidow.com talked about strategically placing opt-in forms on your website.
Yes.
What's the best way to do that without being too pushy?
You want to make it easy for people to sign up
Okay.
without interrupting their experience on your site. So think about embedding those opt-in forms naturally within your content.
Got it.
So for example, maybe at the end of a blog post
Okay.
that's related to your lead magnet
Yeah.
or in the sidebar of your website.
So it's all about context.
Exactly.
Don't just stick it anywhere. Make
Wow.
sure it makes sense for the visitor.
Mm-hmm.
They also mentioned something called an exit intent pop-up.
Yeah, have you heard of those?
It sounds kind of sneaky.
It is a little bit sneaky,
Yeah.
but it can be surprisingly effective.
Okay.
So basically, it's a pop-up that appears just as someone's about to leave your website.
Oh.
It's kind of a last-ditch effort to grab their attention
Mm-hmm.
and offer them something valuable before they go.
Okay.
And blogwidow.com highlighted a case study where a business saw a huge increase in signups after implementing these exit intent pop-ups.
So it's like, wait, don't leave empty-handed.
Yeah,
Here's a free gift just for you.
Exactly.
I love that. But how do we walk that line between using those tactics and coming across as too clickbaity?
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do we make sure we're attracting the right kind of subscribers?
Right.
The ones who are genuinely interested in what we have to offer.
I think that comes down to authenticity.
Okay.
You have to be genuine in your approach.
Yeah.
Don't try to trick people into signing up with misleading promises.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, really focus on creating a lead magnet
Okay.
and messaging that genuinely reflects the value you provide
Right.
and the needs of your audience.
It's about attracting the right people.
Yes.
Not just any people.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got this irresistible lead magnet.
Mm-hmm.
We've strategically placed our opt-in forms.
Yeah.
We're being authentic in our messaging.
Sounds good.
What happens next? What does success look like down the line if we really invest in building this email list?
Imagine this. You have a direct line of communication to thousands of engaged individuals
Wow.
who are genuinely interested in what you have to say, what you have to offer.
Okay.
You're no longer at the mercy of algorithms.
Right.
You're not shouting into the void.
Yeah.
You've built your own little corner of the internet
Mm-hmm.
where you can share your passions, your knowledge, your products or services
Okay.
directly with people who want to hear from you.
Wow, that's a powerful vision.
It is.
It's like having a built-in audience for whatever you want to create or share with the world.
Absolutely. And because you've nurtured those relationships
Yeah.
over time, they trust you.
Yeah.
They're more likely to buy from you, recommend you to their friends,
Yeah.
and become true fans of your brand.
Okay.
It's a sustainable asset that can continue to grow and benefit your business for years to come.
That's awesome.
It's about so much more than just collecting email addresses.
Yeah.
It's about building a community,
Mhm.
fostering relationships, and creating something truly meaningful.
This is already blowing my mind.
It's powerful stuff.
It sounds like building an email list is like having a superpower in today's digital landscape.
It really is.
But before we get too carried away, blogwidow.com also made a point of emphasizing that email lists aren't just about driving those immediate sales.
Right.
It's about building long-term relationships.
Yes, definitely.
Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah.
What does that look like in practice?
It's about seeing your email list as more than just a marketing tool.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a community of people who believe in what you do
Yeah.
and are excited to be a part of your journey.
Okay, I'm with you. So it's about thinking long-term,
Yes.
building trust,
Uh-huh.
creating a space where you can connect with your audience on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, how does that translate to the content you share with your email list?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
You need to dive into the nitty-gritty of what kind of content keeps people engaged.
Yes.
And wanting more. What are those secret ingredients that make an email list truly thrive?
Ooh, now you've got me hooked. Let's explore that further because I think that's where the real magic happens.
I agree. It's funny, blogwidow.com talks about this whole idea of treating your email list like a garden.
Okay.
You have to plant the right seeds, nurture them consistently, and then you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Okay. I love that analogy.
That's a good one.
So what are the seeds in this case? What kind of content really gets those email subscribers growing and thriving?
It all comes back to knowing your audience.
Yeah.
What are their pain points? What keeps them up at night? What are they hungry to learn more about?
Yeah.
Your content needs to address those needs directly.
So it's not just about blasting out random blog posts or promotions.
No, it's about being strategic.
Okay.
And intentionalblogwidow.com gave this great example of a food blogger
Okay.
who noticed that a lot of her audience was struggling with meal planning.
Mm-hmm.
So she started sending out weekly meal plans
Okay.
with grocery lists
Yeah.
and recipe ideas,
Cool.
and her subscribers went nuts for it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
She saw a need and filled it.
Exactly.
It's about providing that real value,
Uh,
not just trying to sell them something every time. Speaking of selling, I think there's sometimes this misconception that email marketing is all about pushing products.
yeah, I think that's a common misconception.
But what I'm hearing from you and from this blogwidow.com article, it's so much more than that.
It really is.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the most effective emails aren't salesy at all.
Okay.
They're about building relationships, sharing stories, establishing yourself as an authority.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure.
What would a non-salesy relationship-building email look like?
Let's say you're a photographer.
Okay.
You could send out an email sharing your favorite photography tips
Mm-hmm.
or behind-the-scenes stories from a recent shoot.
Okay.
Or maybe you're a business coach.
Yeah.
You could send an email sharing your biggest lessons learned from starting your own business.
Got it.
The point is to provide value.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with your audience on a human level.
Okay, I'm starting to get, it's about being a teacher, a mentor, a friend, not just a salesperson.
Right.
But how do we balance that with actually promoting our products or services?
That's a good question.
Because at the end of the day, we are running businesses, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a place for promotional emails.
Oh,
But even your promotional emails should be framed in a way that provides value
okay.
and builds relationships.
What do you mean by that?
Instead of just blasting out a generic buy now message.
Right.
Think about how you can position your product or service as a solution
Okay.
to a specific problem your audience is facing.
Mm-hmm.
Share customer testimonials, case studies, or even behind the scenes glimpses into how your product is made
Okay.
or your service is delivered.
So it's about telling a story,
Yes.
not just making a pitch.
Exactly.
It's about showing, not just telling.
I love that.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about creating valuable content,
Mm-hmm.
building relationships, and even weaving in those promotional messages strategically.
Right.
But let's get down to brass tacks here.
Okay.
What are some tangible tips for writing emails that people actually want to open and read?
Well, first and foremost, you have to nail that subject line.
Oh, the dreaded subject line.
I know, right?
It feels like so much pressure to get it right.
It is important.
What's the secret sauce for a subject line that gets people clicking?
Think of it like a mini headline.
Okay.
It needs to be intriguing, attention-grabbing,
Yeah.
and relevant to the content of your email.
So no more generic monthly newsletter subject lines?
No, definitely not.
Okay, good.
Blogwidow.com suggests using curiosity-driven subject lines.
Okay.
Like, you won't believe what happened this week,
Mm-hmm.
or this one mistake is costing you money.
Ooh, those are good.
Yeah,
They make you want to know more.
exactly.
Okay, so we've got them to open the email now. How do we keep them reading?
Right.
What kind of writing style works best for email?
Right, like you're talking to a friend.
Okay.
Keep it conversational, personal, and engaging.
So no stuffy corporate jargon?
Please no.
Okay, good.
Let your personality shine through.
Yeah.
Use humor, tell stories,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you're having a one-on-one conversation.
Okay, I can definitely do that. Are there any other formatting tips or tricks that help make emails more readable? I know I personally get turned off by giant walls of text.
You and everyone else,
Yeah.
keep your paragraphs short and sweet.
Yeah.
Use bullet points and headings
Mm-hmm.
to break up the text. And don't be afraid to add visuals,
Okay.
like images or GIFs.
Visuals, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
It's about making those emails visually appealing, not just text-heavy, blogwidow.com. Also mentions something about the importance of a strong call to action.
Yes, that's crucial.
Can you explain what that is and why it's so important?
A call to action is simply telling your reader what you want them to do next.
Okay.
It could be visiting your website, downloading a resource,
Mm-hmm.
signing up for a webinar, or making a purchase.
Got it. So it's about guiding them towards a specific outcome?
Exactly.
Right.
Don't leave them hanging.
Okay.
Make it crystal clear what you want them to do.
Right.
And make it easy for them to take action.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We've talked about creating valuable content, building relationships, writing, engaging emails, and including a strong call to action.
Mm.
Anything else we should keep in mind when it comes to email marketing?
One thing that blogwidow.com really emphasizes is the importance of consistency.
Okay.
You can't just send out an email once a month and expect to see results.
Right.
You need to be showing up in your subscribers' inboxes regularly.
Okay, so how often should we be emailing our list? Is there a magic number?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer,
Okay.
but blogwidow.com recommends starting with at least once a week.
Yeah, okay.
You can always adjust your frequency based on your audience's engagement and feedback.
Makes sense. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're staying top of mind without overwhelming them.
Exactly.
But what if you're worried about sending too many emails
Yeah.
and annoying your subscribers?
That's where segmentation comes in. Blogwidow.com talks about this in detail.
Okay.
It's a real game changer.
Segmentation, fill me in.
Segmentation is basically dividing your email list into different groups
Okay.
based on their interests or behaviors. For example, you might have a segment for people who are interested in your blog posts
Okay.
and another segment for people who've purchased from you in the past.
So we're not sending the same email to everyone on our list.
Exactly.
Okay.
By segmenting your list, you can send more targeted and relevant emails to each group.
Yeah.
For example, you might send your blog post segment a weekly email
Okay.
with a roundup of your latest articles. But you might send your customer segment a monthly email with exclusive discounts
Okay.
or early access to new products.
Ah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
It's about being strategic and delivering the right content to the right people at the right time.
absolutely.
It feels like we've covered so much ground here.
We have.
But there's one thing that keeps popping into my mind.
What's that?
We've talked a lot about the benefits of building an email list.
Yeah,
But what about the challenges?
that's a really good point.
What are some of the hurdles that people might encounter along the way?
You're right. It's not always smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Building an email list takes time, effort, and consistency. There are definitely some challenges you might face.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's get real about those potential roadblocks
Let's do it.
and how to overcome them. So where do these challenges pop up? What are we talking about specifically?
Well, I think one of the biggest hurdles is simply getting people to sign up in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you're first starting out, it can feel like an uphill battle.
You're telling me building that engaged email list, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It's easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing those subscriber numbers skyrocket right away.
Yeah, and that's where patience and persistence come in. You have to trust the process
Yeah.
and consistently put in the effort. You know, blogwidow.com emphasizes that building an email list is a marathon, not a sprint.
They're big on the garden analogy.
I know, right?
It makes sense, though. You're not going to see a beautiful garden bloom overnight.
No, you're not.
It takes time, care, attention.
Exactly. And just like a garden, your email list needs to be nurtured and cultivated over time.
Okay.
And speaking of nurturing, another challenge that often comes up is keeping those subscribers engaged.
Oh, yeah. So you got them on the list, but how do you keep them from hitting that unsubscribe button?
It goes back to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, providing consistent value,
Right.
making sure your content is relevant to their needs. You don't want to just bombard them with promotional emails.
Right.
You have to mix it up, offer variety, keep them coming back for more.
So what does that look like in practice? Give us some examples.
Well, blogwidow.com had this fascinating case study about an online retailer
Okay.
who increased their email engagement by simply asking their subscribers what they wanted to see more of.
Oh.
They sent out a survey asking about content preferences, product interests,
Okay.
even their favorite types of email formats.
That's such a simple but brilliant idea.
I know, right?
It shows that you're listening to your audience.
Yeah.
And you care about what they want. You know, sometimes we can get so caught up in our own heads as business owners that we forget to actually ask our audience what they're thinking.
It's so true. And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
This retailer saw a significant increase in their open rates and click-through rates after implementing that feedback from that survey.
Wow, that's impressive. So don't be afraid to ask for feedback.
No.
Your subscribers are a gold mine of information.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
They can tell you exactly what they want, what they need, and what's going to keep them engaged. Another challenge that often comes up is dealing with unsubscribes.
Yes, that dreaded unsubscribe notification.
I know.
It can feel like a personal rejection.
It's totally normal to feel that way.
Yeah.
But try to remember that unsubscribes are a natural part of the process.
Okay.
Not everyone who signs up for your list is going to be your ideal customer or stay engaged forever.
Right.
So how do we deal with unsubscribes in a healthy way?
Yeah.
First of all, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection of your worth or the quality of your content. Secondly, pay attention to your unsubscribe rate. If you're seeing a spike in unsubscribes, it could be a sign that something needs to be tweaked in your email strategy.
Maybe your content isn't resonating, or maybe you're emailing too frequently.
Exactly. Use it as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And finally, don't be afraid to reach out to people who unsubscribe and ask for feedback.
So we can turn an unsubscribe into a learning opportunity.
You absolutely can.
I love that.
You might be surprised at what you learn from people who choose to leave your list.
Interesting.
It might reveal blind spots you weren't even aware of.
Okay, cool. Now, there's one more challenge I think that's important to address.
Okay. And that's the ever-changing landscape of email marketing itself.
Oh, you mean all the updates, new platforms?
Yeah, all of that.
Ever-evolving algorithms.
It can feel overwhelming to keep up with all the changes.
Yeah, for sure.
But the key is to stay informed,
Yeah.
experiment, and be adaptable.
So don't be afraid to try new things. See what works. Adjust your strategy accordingly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The world of email marketing is constantly evolving, and the best way to stay ahead of the curve is to be a lifelong learner and embrace the challenge.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of email lists.
It has.
I feel like we've explored all the angles from the benefits to the challenges and everything in between.
I agree. It's been a great conversation.
It really has.
And I think it highlights the fact that building an email list is one of the most valuable things you can do for your online business,
Yeah.
but it's not always easy.
You've got to be willing to put in the work, stay informed, and adapt to that ever-changing landscape.
Absolutely.
But the rewards are well worth the effort.
Couldn't agree more so. As we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
What's the one thing you can do today to start building your email list or to take your existing list to the next level?
That's a great question to ponder. What action can you take right now to make progress on this journey?
Because when you invest in your email list, you're investing in the future of your business.
Your connection with your audience and your ability to share your unique message with the world.
It's about building something sustainable, meaningful, and impactful.
Yes.
And that's pretty darn exciting.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.